and it will be some time before the lights have returned to normal. I call the Honourable Member Louisa Wall.
Kia ora, Mr Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity to contribute to the kōrero tonight. I actually want to follow on from Dr Hutchinson and actually remember the champions that have created the bill that we have before us today. I do want to thank the Honourable Tau Henare for his history lesson, because I think it's important at this point in time that we do acknowledge the people that have brought to fruition what we see today. I particularly want to honour the work that Hone Harawira has done in bringing this kaupapa to the Māori Affairs Select Committee, and I particularly want to acknowledge the work that the Honourable Tariana Turia has done in ensuring that this kaupapa was brought before the House in this parliamentary term. I do think it's important to make a comment about leadership, because this is a very big bill. This is a bill that is going to save many lives, and actually the lives that I want to focus on are the lives of our babies, because I was particularly taken with the submission made by the University of Auckland Sudi group, and it was astounding for me to read statistics that between 2003 and 2007, 328 of our babies under 1 year of age died. Of those 328 babies, 202 of those babies were Māori babies. And of the mothers of the 328 babies, 75% of those mothers smoked. So the correlation between smoking and infant mortality in our country is just so explicit that to not do what we're doing today actually would have been completely unethical. I do want to particularly talk about the prohibition of displays, because I think what this bill has done and will do in the future is to denormalise smoking for our children. And that environment where smoking isn't normal is one that is incredibly important when you look at the statistics, when you look at the fact that we have 5,000 premature deaths per year because of smoking, whether that be people who smoke themselves or people who live in environments within whānau where people smoke. And it is relevant to all of us. I think all of us would have a family member where we've had somebody who has died as a consequence of their smoking. And I do particularly want to talk about someone close to me, my father, who at 63 died of coronary heart disease. He had a massive heart attack. He was a chain smoker. He smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I grew up in an environment where I couldn't breathe, actually. So as a young child, I remember not being able to breathe. But for me, it meant that I was never going to smoke. I listened to my body. My body rejected smoke, so I didn't smoke. And I think I've been fortunate. I've smoked once in my life because of peer pressure, because I grew up in a community where smoking was normal. But for me, I decided I wasn't going to smoke. So actually the first cigarette I had was at the lake in Taupo, and I threw it in the lake, and all my family members chased after me to give me a hiding because I'd thrown the smoke away. So I inherently knew that smoking was bad. But there are a lot of children who grow up in environments where smoking is normal. They don't know smoking is bad. They may have the first response that I did, which was to choke, which was not to breathe, but they persist. And they persist because their peers and because society says to them smoking is normal. So what I see, the potential of this bill is amazing. It's amazing because we're going to create an environment where smoking isn't normal, smoking isn't cool, and what that actually translates to is our children growing up, having opportunities in life to not be influenced by the fact that when they go to the dairy, for example, cigarettes will be there on display, encouraging them, whether they know it or not, to take up the cigarettes. So I'm very pleased to belong to a parliament that sees a bill like this before the House, and that we do have, cross-party support for such an initiative. I think I wanted to comment on something that Dr. Hutchinson said actually, which was that because we are going to be prohibiting the display of tobacco, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Mr. Chair.
I call the honourable member